Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wonderful, wonderful deep shade of green across the board on Dalal Street, all thanks to a conclusive result that has come in from US elections, where Mr. Donald Trump, the former 45th President of the United States, will also be the 47th President of the United States. Let's take a look at what the markets are telling us. It's a triple century, ladies and gentlemen, on the Nifty, 300 points higher. 24,500 is back with the bulls. The Nifty Bank on its weekly expiry day is rejoicing, 145 points higher. But it's the IT stocks that are partying and partying like mad. 1,600 points higher on the Nifty IT index, 42,041 on the screen. Remember when the results started coming in and it was visible that Mr. Trump was heading for a landslide, the index was up somewhere like 500 points, and just as the landslide got bigger and bigger, we've seen a very, very sharp increase in how IT stocks are performing. Remember, about 80 to 90% of Indian software exports are towards the United States, and the kind of lack of decision making that was seen in many corporate newsrooms of Wall Street, that seems to be likely to be over, and that's the enthusiasm that we see on the Indian markets, in particular businesses that are facing the United States. Across the board, you have a sharp rally in India. 1966 shares are in the green, 400 are in the red. We tracked 19 indices for you, all 19 are in the green, and the advanced decline ratio, the broader structure of the market, is really, really good. Let's look at very quickly into some of the most active counters where gains are across the board. Reliance Industries 1.5% higher, very decent volumes, 2,100 crores. HDFC Bank has 1783 crores worth of transactions that are done. Infosys, the top draw on the IT space, 4% higher at 1825, 1,300 crores. You have BSE, BEL, Titan, as also TCS rocking it away as far as markets are concerned. What we'll do is very quickly we'll take a detour into corporate India. Joining us for discussing the earnings of Waaree Renewable Technologies is Mr. Dilip Panjwani, CFO of Waaree Renewables. Namaste Dilip ji, and what a fantastic performance Waaree Renewable Technologies has come up with. I am sure there is a 5-7 day party going in the group as well after the listing of Waaree Energy, but a very strong show from the renewables business as well. 524 crores is the top line versus 150 crores a year ago and 236 crores in the first quarter. Profit after tax is 54 crore rupees versus 21 crore rupees in the year ago quarter. What brought about this dramatic change in sentiment? What are the reasons behind this change in profit and growth in revenue?
Good afternoon, Shailendra-ji, and I just want to draw your attention. A while back you were talking everything is green. I just want to draw your attention. We are also in green business. We are in energy transition.
क्या बात है?
So definitely, I would like to touch upon your question that, what led to our historic highest ever quarter performance is our volume growth. We were backed by a strong order book in the beginning of the year, and we have executed some of our projects during the quarter at about 487 megawatt that we have delivered this quarter. That volume has led to this super performance from our company. That's the reason where we are at.
Okay, so what is the existing order book that Waaree Renewables has at this point of time, and how many new orders were won in the quarter just gone by?
So in the just quarter gone by, we have won about 2 to 3 order books. One was 30 megawatt that we won, but those are small orders trickling in. The major orders were won up to our March point, where we were at on 1st April we were at 2.3 gigawatt of business outstanding to be completed yet. Right now we are at 1.7 gigawatt, and important to note is that now we are in discussion with clients for about 17.8 gigawatt. The length of pipeline just keeps increasing. That's driven by the tail that this business offers in the energy transition spectrum.
Okay, and the existing order book, how much is it worth in terms of annual or quarterly business?
Can you come back again? What you said?
I'm just asking the size of the order book. Is it worth for 1.5 crores, 1.5 years, 2 years in terms of
Yeah.
the order book?
So the way to look at order book is, twofold. One is, we normally deliver between 1 to 1.2 crore average, depends on the scope, and the balance of the work that is left is between 9 to 12 months that we ought to execute this 1.7 gigawatt of order book that with us.
Okay. Mr. Panjwani, I'm also looking at how the operating margin has increased to about 14 percentage points. My apologies, it's slipped a bit. 14 percentage points in September 2024 versus 20 percentage points in the same quarter last year and 17% in June 2024. Did you sacrifice OPM for higher sales and higher profit? Is that the case,
Well,
or is it competition?
I would put it neither of those. We in fact have guided our stakeholders to look at margins in sub 15 space. We have
Okay.
been telling quite some time. And if you look at the volume growth that we have achieved over last 3 years, you don't have to look at it in one go. Even if you analyze every quarter, the volume has just kept on increasing.
Yes.
And we have been telling that the sustainable, reasonable margin ought to be sub 15%. So
Okay.
this volume increase is enough for us to give a solid performance on EBITDA and PAT level both, which is reflected in numbers today as well. We don't have to invest incremental capital to put on more volume. That gives us cushion for any little bit reduction in margins, definitely. But our ROEs are still maintained. Our ROEs are well maintained now.
Fair point. And when you look at, so does one presume that 13-14% is the operating margin guidance for the next maybe 2 quarters or even more?
2 quarters definitely, but we would like to see, how the new order shapes up, at what margin they come in. But we do have internal benchmarks where we take only good orders. We don't chase orders for the sake of business. We chase orders for the sake of profitability as well.
So, okay, let's presume that for the next 2 quarters, OPM target is 14% as was in the second quarter. How about any guidance that you would like to share for profit after tax and revenue?
They will be in the same range as far as percentage is concerned. But since we don't give guidance in a strict sense, the sense that we would like to give is that as we said, the balance order book that is 1.7 gigawatt ought to be completed in 9 to 12 months. If you drill it down to balance 6 months, we should complete about 1.2 to 1.3 gigawatt. Now give the math of average that we do 1 to 1.2 crore. One can do a quick math and arrive at the numbers. It's not very difficult to do.
Mr. Panjwani, good afternoon. Sakshi this side. Good to be speaking with you. Congratulations on the stellar set of numbers that you have come through. Do tell us, the key factors that you've highlighted in your conversation with Shell that have, led your profits to nearly triple this time around. Can they continue to be sustained through the second half of this fiscal year as well?
Thanks, Sakshi, for highlighting that. The current order book itself is good enough for at least, next 2 quarters for us to sustain the numbers that we're talking. And we are, as I said, that we are chasing a strong pipeline of 17.8 gigawatt. Add to that what the sector in tail is offering, but that's what we speak in specifics. When you go into specifics, it's not only solar, it's the RTC, battery energy storage systems, hydrogen business that's coming up. There's enough cushion, and business available. Plus, you couple it with the environment that in which we operate as a group. We have got module in the group, which is Waaree Energies, and we have got battery, hydrogen. So we have got those expertise to deliver all this, value chain segment through our EPC arm.
Okay. Do tell us, sir, as far as your H1 revenue is concerned, that stands at around 761 odd crore rupees. For H2, do you see that, probably inching higher to over 800, 900 odd crore rupees for H2? Do you think that is doable?
Well, Sakshi, if you look at our H1 billing, we have already crossed last year's entire turnover.
Okay.
And as they said, while a while back that, the 1.2 to 1.3 gigawatt that we ought to deliver in the next 6 months will definitely see us through higher than this number.
Okay. And on the margins front, sir, could you help us understand what is the band you're looking forward for FY25 and maybe in FY26 as well? How do you see it panning out too?
Well, we are looking at sub 15% margin, but still double digit margin, higher double digit margin is what we are looking at this year. And, we also, as I said, we would like to take profitable projects. So, we don't want to chase projects for the sake of business. That's the unique positioning that Waaree Renewable brings on the table. So you can make a good sense of what the margins are going to be in the future as well with us.
Okay. Mr. Panjwani, when you break the order book, you have three main businesses, which is EPC, O&M, and also some sort of power production on the independent side. Can you break down the overall order book into these three segments, and how much of it is from the government?
Yeah. So, from the government is now roughly about 15 to 20% business as the easier business right now for us. As far as, the three segments you rightly highlighted, a majority of our business is in EPC segment.
Okay. Mr. Pachwani, do highlight for us which are the industries which are actually showing you the maximum demand at this point in time. Where are you getting the maximum orders from, and how do you see industry demand shaping up for the second half?
Well, the maximum demand that is shaping up is actually from utility scale IPP segment. But we do expect a lot of rooftop and corporate business to kick in going forward.
Okay. When we look at the average realization that you have per megawatt, what has been the range in the quarter gone by, and how does it compare annually?
Well, the range for us has been throughout same, between 1 to 1.2 crore, which I mentioned. Even if you look at, 524 upon 487, it's roughly in 1.1, 1.2 crore range, that we have been speaking. And we expect this to continue for next 2 quarters.
Okay. And how about fresh capacity? Is any of the new factories that is coming on stream in the next 2 quarters? What is the present capacity utilization at Waaree Renewables?
We don't have production space as such. We are in EPC construction. So, if you look at our manpower cost, that gives a reflection of how capacity addition is happening, because as we add manpower, we keep adding capacity to execute more projects.
Okay, got that. Do talk to us about the next 1 or 2 years, fiscal years. How will they look at? And do you have your own any internal targets for yourself to achieve? Maybe on the top line, the sales figures and the profitability. Where do you aim to reach over the next 1 or 2 fiscal years, sir?
Right now, our goal is to help clients in energy transition, as I said, and expand the horizon to battery energy storage system, pump storage, and hydrogen as and when it comes up. We want to participate in that. So next couple of years, we are putting down platform in place where where we can achieve more higher growth. I don't want to pin down to a number and be limited by that, because we are actually in really very exciting times, in terms of green energy that everyone is talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Panjwani, with that wonderful answer. We wish you all the best. And of course, yours has been a multi-bagger stock. I'm seeing returns of 228% each year over the last 3 years. Let's hope that performance and that mojo comes back now that both sequential and year-on-year growth are back into the quarterly numbers. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, let's come back to the party on Dalal Street, and let me add another interesting tadka. So if you think that the 250-point rally on the Nifty is good enough, wait for tomorrow. If you think the 4 percentage point uptick on the Nifty IT index is enough at 42,000, wait what will happen tomorrow. Sakshi, Dow futures are up 1200 points.
Wow.
And the party will start on Wall Street. जो दिवाली पार्टी हमारे यहाँ नहीं हुई वो अब होगी, या यूं समझ लीजिए that Christmas has come in early.
Trump has brought back the spark on D Street. It's his magic that's working wonders for the Nifty bulls. and we will take it whoever is behind this rally, but it should be in the green and it
Correct.
should be higher.
ये बात.
We don't mind whether it is Trump or whether it is Modi or whoever wants to be the reason. Please be the reason. When the markets are higher, it should only go up right now,
Mr.
because
Trump
it's
or
actually
Miss Harris. Mr. Modi is here.
yes, he did work the magic in
Absolutely.
our elections.
I agree with
he
you.
did work.
Absolutely.
So, in the initial part, like last 6 months, he's been like from June onwards or July onwards, it's been him, and now it's Trump. So,
We are always happy with the color green.
Yeah.
Whoever paints that color, we
Yes.
don't care. But color हरा होना चाहिए. And मेरी shirt काम कर रही है.
Yes, absolutely. I think you should wear that more often now, Shell.
No, only on Wednesday.
Wonderful. Let's get Kush Godasara, market expert, joining right in. Kush, I think you will be disappointed looking at the rally today. 245 points higher. I remember you've been sending me messages when your targets were achieved, but your target got achieved, or 23,800. Did it?
Yes, that's why I enjoyed the Diwali, because I
You
booked
enjoyed the
profit.
Diwali. Okay, wonderful.
ठीक है. Sir, you
Perfect.
enjoyed the Diwali. Please enjoy Christmas also. जल्दी आ गया.
अभी क्या करेंगे? Short या long?
Still, I'm waiting for today's closing. Definitely, Nifty is showing signs after a month. After 1st October, we will be closing on 15-day average. So that is what we expect. 24,400 is the level. But I'm still not convinced with the Bank Nifty. 52,500 is been acting as strong resistance. So maybe we have covered all the shorts at 24,000 yesterday, but I'm still not long on the market. Maybe I will wait for one more day confirmation. So definitely, currently markets are in no trading zone for short-term trading.
ओके. कुश जी, आपको खुश करना बड़ा मुश्किल है. पता नहीं आप किसका इंतजार कर रहे हैं. मतलब 27-28 दिन पूरी पिटाई से ही 27 सितंबर से लेकर मेरे ख्याल से 31 अक्टूबर तक, और इसके बाद भी आपके चेहरे पर प्रसन्नता के चिन्ह नहीं दिख रहे, तो बताइए क्या कीजिए.
सर,
कुछ
क्योंकि
मिठाई भेजें यहाँ से.
वो तो छोले भटूरे खाना आ रहा हूँ मैं, but अभी sir, only reason is that I was looking at the monthly chart for the first time after March 2020. It has happened कि market has crashed more than 5% in single month. तो उसका वापस confidence लाने के लिए we'll need some support from likes like ITC, Reliance, Titan, even Tata Motors. So looking few Nifty 50 stocks, even Axis Bank आज देखो आप सर, सवेरे से प्रेशर में ही, HDFC. So market, but I am not getting strength from my oldies.
एक्चुअली ये नज़रिया है देखने का. A lot of people are cautious, especially on the technical side. They would rather follow the trend instead of making it. And for all those who have been following business today, we have something called the SBI Nifty ETF, which yesterday the low was 252 and today it's at 258. Remember, it's the 1 percentage point of the Nifty. So if the Nifty is 24,450, the ETF should be 244.5, but it is now at 258 because you have the dividend payout as well working into it. So that's the best way to play the market on the long side. You have no downside because an ETF is something that in the longer run always appreciates in line with the underlying index, and if you are hesitant to take positions in the future space or more importantly in the option space, this is the best way forward. Sakshi, on 17th November onwards, we will have the absence of weekly options contracts, and take it from me, the volume of SBI Nifty ETF and SBI Bank Nifty ETF will shoot through the roof, because all action will come this side, and that is the time to start playing the game. Maybe post this meeting, this show, I'll show you a NASDAQ ETF where the daily turnover is $400 billion. So that is the kind of liquidity that we should aim for, but whatever is the liquidity in SBI Nifty and Bank Nifty ETF, that is going to shoot through the roof in towards the end of November. So Kush Saab, शॉर्ट करें यहाँ से, कोई आप बताना चाहें तो?
नहीं, I'm still from 24,000 to 24,500. No trade zone, sitting on the sidelines.
Okay. Okay. And any key sectors, should IT be on everybody's top buying list right now, or should one move beyond it?
No, definitely. If we are, trading tomorrow about 24,500, and if we are going long, my preferred bets would be on banking stocks, क्योंकि सबसे ज्यादा हाई बीटा वहीं पे है और वहां पे ही शॉर्ट कवरिंग आएगा. IT is already was in uptrend, minor एक setback आया था. So if you want to trade longs tomorrow, stick to HDFC Bank, Axis Bank और ICICI Bank, high beta stocks. वहां पे एक sharp short covering आएगा.
Okay. Can you look at the charts of BEL and tell us what is in the offing? This stock has been slowly and gradually on the move. It's now the top mover on the Nifty. Do you think one should chase the momentum here? 301 right now for BEL?
Definitely, a position trader should chase the momentum. After a long time, we have seen stock moving through the 300 mark. First time after the month of August. So I believe, yes, this is a good momentum chase. Definitely, volumes are also looking good. So with the stop loss of 292, one can chase the momentum on the upside. First target will be 309, which was a strong resistance in last quarter, above which we may see 328. But it's a low beta. So if you are a positional trader for 2 to 3 weeks, you definitely can go long.
Sakshi, what is most likely happening is that the fear premium that was there in crude oil prices is now going out. Because one, you have a conclusive winner, and there is this possibility that the problem in the Middle East between Israel and Iran, with the advent of Mr. Trump, you just might see, it sort of easing out. Crude oil futures are down 2% to 70.52. I'm talking about light crude and on NYMEX, as also US 10-year yield. This is the most troublesome part of the global IT environment. Well, it's still up 4.4, still up to 4.4, and this is the highest since July 1st. But let us see how it reacts as far as the Wall Street Open is concerned, and the fact that you have the US Federal Reserve meet that starts today, ends tomorrow night, and we will be reacting to a 0.25 percentage point cut in US borrowing costs on Friday morning. So, three positives: crude oil is down, 1200 point rally in Dow futures, and of course the rate cut coming in.
That's wonderful. So everything hopes you points to the positive for this
बहुत
week
बुरे
for
दिन
sure.
काटे हैं अक्टूबर में.
That's true. That's true. There's a huge change in the kind of approach that all our viewers of daily calls also have.
Okay.
In the last 1 month, every day we would get at least 5 people saying, I want to just run away from this market. And today they say that markets are a great teacher. We held on. So that's the kind of difference I saw in just 1 month. At least people's confidence is coming back, and that was important, Shell. It was they were losing patience by the day, by the minute. And those investors who just had been enjoying a one-way upward rally, they had never seen this. Kind of a long 4-week kind of a correction. For them, this was needed, that for the confidence to come back.
Sakshi, again, this is a bit of a how should I say, a shallow learning exercise.
Yes.
Because corrections are such a strong part of the overall learning habit. All bull runs I have seen, some of them correcting 18%, 19%, 30%, and then again shooting up all the way up. यहाँ तो 2 दिन बाजार गिर जाता है तो फोन आने लगते हैं कि भाई अब क्या करें, because people are so heavily invested. Earlier it was not the case. Now
people used to say, हम लोग ने अपनी FD तोड़ी है स्टॉक मार्केट्स में आने के बाद, तो अब हम क्या करें? That's what people were saying in my show.
और कुछ जी हैं वो अभी भी तैयार नहीं है, वो कह रहे हैं कि मैं 24,500 के ऊपर ही लूंगा. कुछ जी आपको छोले भटूरे की मैं फोटो भेजता हूँ आप लोग को. I have to change your mind.
नहीं सर, इट्स बेटर टू वेट फॉर अ कंफर्मेशन. थोड़ा महंगा लेगा, थोड़ा लेट एंट्री करेंगे,
मतलब
बट
आप फोटो देखने के बाद बाय कॉल दोगे?
नहीं, खाने के बाद ही दो.
खाने के बाद ही देंगे.
भाई जोमैटो ऑर्डर करो.
स्विगी कर देते हैं सर, आईपीओ अच्छा रजिस्ट हो जाए.
चलिए, हमारे परम मित्र शरद अवस्थी साहब जुड़ गए हैं, हेड ऑफ रिसर्च फॉर प्राइवेट क्लाइंट ग्रुप एट स्मिथ सिक्योरिटीज एंड फ्रॉम द फूड कैपिटल ऑफ वर्ल्ड, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, कोलकाता. नमस्ते शरद जी, अ वेरी वार्म वेलकम. एक बार तो मुस्कुरा दीजिए, आज तो बड़े अच्छे रिजल्ट आए हैं. मतलब किस किस दिन 4 परसेंटेज पॉइंट रैली आप देखेंगे निफ्टी आईटी इंडेक्स पर?
नमस्कार जी. पॉजिटिव डेवलपमेंट है और मुझे लगता है एक कमला हैरिस से बहुत ज्यादा उम्मीदें थी लोगों को, पर वो टैक्स वैक्स वाला शायद बैकफायर कर गया थोड़ा बहुत. बट ट्रम्प इंडिया के लिए मोटा मोटी पॉजिटिव रहनी चाहिए और यूएस इलेक्ट मतलब जो रिलेशंस हैं, वी शुड कंटिन्यू टू सी इम्प्रूवमेंट देयर. तो आई थिंक इट्स अ गुड रिजल्ट. द आउटकम इन द यूएस में भी अच्छा रहना चाहिए. मोस्ट प्रोबेबली अब हार्ड लैंडिंग की तरफ हम नहीं देख रहे हैं, तो आईटी ऑब्वियसली इम्प्रूव करेगा, तो वी माइट सी सम मोर इम्प्रूवमेंट देयर. But then across the board, I don't think the valuations are very comforting. But ठीक है, पिछले कुछ समय में थोड़ी बहुत करेक्शन आई है, तो हो सकता है वो लॉस्ट ग्राउंड वो कवर कर ले.
शरद जी, ये इत्तेफाकन है या आपने हरी टाई ऐसे ही पहन ली?
नहीं, इत्तेफाक नहीं है.
So Sharaji's green tie and Shell's green shirt has worked wonders today, along with Trump's magic, to get the D Street back above 24,500 at least in an intraday level. Your own sense, Sharadji, have we made a bottom, and is the worst behind now?
Yeah, I think it's been what 8 to 9%, 9.5% kind of correction across the board in most cases, particularly on the large cap side. I think more or less I think we have made a bottom. But it's hard to call markets. But we are taking the view that most probably a bottom has been made, and most probably we would see a very strong rally over the next 2-3 months in the markets. Which would make us forget most of the pain that we have seen over the last month and a half. So we are very optimistic. I think the second half or the Q3 and Q4 numbers should also be very good actually. And I think the first 2 quarters have dented expectations somewhat. But Q3 onwards, I think most of that, dampened feeling would substantially get an uplift, and we would see a very substantial re-rating in most numbers. Expectations would also get a fillip, and I think if the Maharashtra elections also add to this, there could be another bout of rally. So more or less over the next 2-3 months, you can expect, most of the pain points, whether it's inflation in US, the interest rate trajectory, most things might be in favor. And now with Trump on the seat, I think most probably you're not talking about, higher tax rates. So that would substantially aid in not having a hard fall there or a hard landing in US. That will give way to, stable and regular growth. And most probably the optimism would also emanate from lower inflation. So combined with lower inflation, it would lead to lower rates, and most probably if tax rates are not tinkered, specifically not increased, I think that will give way to more optimism at the economic and company level. So all this combined should be very good for IT companies, even export-oriented companies. And at the domestic level, I think most of the demand is second half oriented. And as we see that happening over the this quarter and next quarter, I think most of the concerns around earnings would substantially, come down, and that would lead to a very good rally in the markets.
Okay. Sharad, you touched upon IT at your end already. I wanted to ask, is this 1600 point uptick, a 4 percentage point surge, an over exuberance to this Trump victory, or this is par for the course?
No, I would not call it over exuberant, because I think if this, as I explained earlier, this could substantially aid, the confidence, particularly in US. And we all understand that most IT companies are very much dependent on US businesses. So if the US outlook substantially improves, I think there will be a very sharp turnaround in most of the IT businesses. And post US elections, I think traction on the economy there would also gain some momentum. So I think it's not overdone, particularly because of the fact that over the last month or so, most of them had already corrected. If they had not corrected and this, over rejuvenation happened, then most probably you would have doubted it. But I think after the correction we have seen over the last month and a half across IT also, some not all pockets, but most of the pockets, I think this is okay. I would not call it exaggerated on the upside. I think it's okay. But yeah, numbers for most frontline stocks, they would find it difficult to justify unless and until the revision to forward numbers is substantial over the next quarter or so.
Okay, let's get Kush also into the conversation. Kush, where else do you think there is a lot of buying opportunity amidst this momentum within the markets?
Now, maybe, auto stocks which have corrected a bit, especially two-wheelers, TVS Motors, Bajaj Auto, and Hero Moto. They all are trading near 200 average. So maybe we can take a risk of short covering play in TVS Motors. I believe there is a chance of short covering on TVS Motor. Strict stop loss at 2470. On the upside, we may test 2550, and above which, if we sustain, we could see 2700. So definitely, TVS Motor is somewhat which I like right now.
Sharji, this US 10-year yield is now at 4.42. It just refuses to subside to sensible levels. Now that the election results are out and possibly a rate cut is also in the offing by tomorrow night, do you see US 10-year yield cooling, or are we in pain again?
Ideally, the scenario that I'm looking at where inflation is normalized, I don't think that US 10-year yield should be where they are. And I think there has been some confusion after the last rate cut that, maybe the trajectory is not as linear or as clean as I was seeing it. I think the rest of the market is doubting whether further rate cuts can happen or not. But post-election results, I think now it will be more or less clear that most probably inflation rates should come down. I think another cut that comes in and the type of commentary we receive after that, there will be greater confirmation that most probably we are on a downward trajectory. And considering the inflation trajectory that I'm forcing, I don't see any reason why you should be worried about higher rates and why 10-year G6 across the world should be higher. But maybe I'm missing something because over the last 2.5 months, a lot of narrative has changed, flip-flop either ways. And I personally think that this is just a 1 or 2 month kind of hiatus where you could not understand which way the trade trajectory is going, because it is not only US 10-year yields. If you look at most of the 10-year yields across most markets, particularly among the developed nations, there was an uptick, sharp reversal there. So most probably, as you rightly pointed out, maybe after this election results, there will be a trajectory where, gradually we start seeing lower rates. But till now, even after the results, I think we haven't seen something very concrete. So maybe over the next month or so, as more clarity emerges, we could gradually see that, US 10-year yields gradually gallop downwards. And obviously, then India should also follow suit.
Okay, Mr. Masti, could you also help us understand within the pharma space, where exactly are you looking for opportunities? We've discussed the IT space, but since pharma also is an export-oriented sector, where exactly should one look for opportunities there if this sector is to benefit from Trump's victory?
Firstly, I doubt how much across the board pharma would benefit from a Trump victory, because there the narrative is very clear. Everyone wants to pull down the pharma costs that are always already elevated in the US. So I think there you never know where they could become very stringent with respect to some of the pricing pressures. But as we have seen over the last 1 or 2 quarters, the pricing pressures have eased substantially. The rate of fall has reduced substantially. So that's benefiting most pharma companies. And this aversion from China of some of the supply side issues, I think that is also helping some of the pharma companies. So both these issues combined, I think most of the pharma companies that benefit from the shift from China have already run up, and they leave very little on the table, including the likes of a say Syngene or a Piramal Pharma. They might be discounting too much of the future. So I don't think I would be betting on them. Amongst the front line, I think the likes of Sun Pharma, Cipla, they are fully to fairly valued. DVs after this run up does not leave much on the table unless and until the big capex that they're doing does turn out and starts contributing to the bottom line. Till then, I think if you look at the whole back, I think Dr. Reddy is something I'm comfortable. The focus on India business, even the management commentary after the results has been positive. They're guiding towards some acquisition, maybe on an OTS drug or something like that. So I think Dr. Reddy at these valuations, 20 times 1 year forward, I think it's still a pretty decent bet. So if one I have to choose, I think within the large caps, I would go with Dr. Reddy's. Among the smaller companies, offhand, I don't remember many names, but yeah, I think Loris is something that could benefit out of the API price improvements gradually, how it plays out. But there also, I don't think that valuations right now offer much of a comfort that you get a very good rate. So I think to sum it up, Dr. Reddy's would be my sole pick for the pharma sector.
Right. There is one point of disconnect, ladies and gentlemen. Why disconnect, ladies and gentlemen? While we are very enthusiastic about how Wall Street futures are up, it's the Chinese markets where futures are slipping. So the Hang Seng futures are down about 189. That's roughly a drop of about 1.3%. Chinese futures are also down to the same extent. Actually, Hang Seng futures are down 2%. Chinese futures are down 1.3%. Sharadji, there is this palpable fear in the market that the Chinese government will now devalue the yuan to the extent of rise of the threatening rise of US tariffs. And if the Chinese yuan is devalued, then obviously Indian rupee will also sink lower. Do you agree to this hypothesis?
Yeah, I think in the immediate short term, maybe you would have some connection, but I don't think you should directly correlate because the type of situation China is right now in terms of the geopolitical turmoil that they are seeing and that relationship, mostly a hate relationship that they developed with the US. I think Kamala Harris may have been a softer option for them, but Trump will obviously come hard with most of the tariffs, etc. So most probably that is why they are anticipating this kind of movement and devaluing the yuan. I think that's a thing that they now need to look at because they've artificially managed it for quite some time. And I think to manage exports better, they might continue to do that. But whether over a period of time, say 3 to 4 months, you would have a synchronized move across with the Indian currency, I seriously doubt it because the Indian currency hasn't really done much in spite of the bond fund inflation, etc., that has happened over the last 6 to 12 months. So I personally think that the Indian currency, it's high time it should appreciate vis-a-vis most developed economies, particularly the US dollar. But till now, nothing like that has happened. But I'm expecting these bond inflows to gradually play that out. And I think after these elections and once a risk-on is back and lower rates are there, I think FII inflow should also turn favorable for India or for
Okay.
that most emerging markets. So that should also help the currency. So short term, yeah, sentiment wise, you could mimic the movement in the yuan because of the devaluation. But long term, I think beyond the initial, 15 day or 1 month move, I think both the currencies too should decouple and the INR should largely be on a trajectory where it improves or appreciates vis-a-vis most of the currencies.
Okay, let's get Kush again into the conversation. Kush, tell us what are you making of this extremely strong surge that you're looking at the EMS plays, Dixon Technologies and Keynes Technologies. About 7, 8%, 9% kind of moves coming in for them. Should one chase the momentum at this stage? Do you think the mojo is back for these two?
Definitely, Dixon Technology technicals are looking strong. 10 and 15-day averages are acting as strong support. So with the stop loss of maybe 14,500, we can buy on Dixon Technology. On the upside, I believe we may touch 16,800 in a short period. So a high beta stock. So high risk trader can definitely buy on Dixon Technology.
Let's just take a detour into the market. It's 3:14. The last 15 minutes of this excellent market day are now with us. Very, very strong show as far as the advanced decline ratio is concerned, and that probably is one of the hallmarks of today's trade. We have 1970 stocks in the green. just 400 in the red, and that's a clear 5:1 for you. All 19 indices are up. Sakshi, take your pick. I'll tell you how many. Okay, this is interesting. 17 out of 19 indices are up more than 1%.
Yeah.
Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 indices are up more than 2%, and the IT index is, of course, the top ruling giant, 4 percentage points higher. शरद जी यहाँ पर हमारे साथ उपस्थित हैं, तो कोफोर्ज का भी प्राइस दिखा देते हैं. ये स्टॉक आपसे संबंध रखता है. 7,800 आपके सामने, बहुत ही धमाकेदार तेज़ी, आज 3.5% ऊपर. शरद जी ने इस पर अपनी एक बाय की मोहर लगाई थी 4500-4800 रुपये के आसपास, जब सिग्निटी का टेक ओवर हुआ था, और वहाँ से अब तक धमाकेदार तेज़ी. मेरे ख्याल से ये सिर्फ 4-5 महीने का सफ़र है जहाँ पर आपने इतना ज़्यादा पैसा इतने कम समय में बनाया. साथ ही साथ लेट्स लुक एट वॉल्यूम. डिक्सन, द वन दैट Sakshi and Kush have just discussed, is today's top traded counter, 3,056 crores worth of transactions. Reliance has raked in 2,600 crores. HDFC Bank has raked in 2,100 crores. Infosys 1,600 crores. Strong show coming in here. Would you guess, Sharad ji, today's sell number, net sell number for FIIs?
I think at max you would look at what, 500, 700 crores maybe, or you would be surprised to have a buy number also.
Wow.
You know, if there is a buy number, Sharad ji, I am going to come to Kolkata and shake your hands.
And have puchka.
Why only puchka? Puchka we will have as a normal conversation. कलकत्ता आप गए तो वो जो डाइट वाइट प्लान है वो एक हफ्ते के लिए साइड में. Actually, my feeling is that today FIs will sell more because we are helping them exit on a daily basis. Yesterday's number was 2,500, right?
Yeah.
In that vicinity. 2,563 crores if I am not wrong.
2569.
है ना? और today DII number will be fabulous. But I have this sinking feeling that the FI number will be more than at least 2569 crores.
Whoa.
Because they are getting an opportunity at higher prices to exit in the same. Look at HDFC Bank, it's down actually. Will you believe it? Down 0.2%. What else is down? Axis Bank, 0.4%. And that is what Kush is trying to say. कि आप मेरे को छोले भटूरे का वो दे रहे हो, गुड़ और शक्कर वगैरह, लेकिन असली खेल तो बेर खेल रहा है यहाँ पे.
आज तो दोनों का इक्वल गेम है सर. कल पता चलेगा कि किसकी फेवर में गेम है.
कल वो कौन सा एक वो बड़ा अच्छा मुहावरा है ना हिंदी का, देखते हैं बाजुए कातिल में कितना दम है. अभी I'll just reframe it. 24,500 call writer, ladies and gentlemen, the most dangerous man on earth is getting ready to write calls at 24,500. आज इसके ऊपर आप क्लोज करा दीजिए अगले 13 मिनट में, तो फिर ज़रा उनके दिल में एक डर बैठेगा. That's also the 100-day moving average. Let's see what happens. Sakshi.
Okay, got that. Let's get back to the markets. Okay, Sharad ji, mid and small caps, how are you looking at them after a 10% correction of late? Do you think it's done and dusted? Is there more to go? Or are you finding more opportunities to buy in these two spaces?
No, I think the headline number does not really show you the actual pain that mid caps and small caps have. But yeah, I think the number of opportunities are far more, and some of the recommendations that even I have made in the past, they have not done well. And I continue to buy them, and I think at prices much lower than where I have recommended them earlier, or where we have already bought a bit into those stocks. I think those are excellent opportunities. But again, it's a pick and choose kind of market. It's not a cost of market that you can buy into. And I think the type of outperformance they put vis-a-vis the large caps over the last 1.5 years, I think fall equivalent to the large caps of around 8 to 10%. I don't think the mid caps have maybe come at par with large caps. So even now, I think valuation wise, if you just take as a whole basket, I think large caps are still better priced than mid caps and small caps, particularly small caps. Maybe the first line mid caps are priced in consonance with the large caps. But especially the lower run small cap stocks or the lesser known ideas where you are trading at lofty valuations and you don't have earnings growth to support over the next 18 to 24 months. I think that is the space which might still be expensive, might have more room to fall. But then I think over the next 2 3 months we are looking at a very generic kind of rally, strong rally across. So most companies should participate with the small cap, mid cap. But valuation comfort wise, I think I would be more comfortable with the large caps and the frontline names. And within the small cap, mid cap space, I would be very specific with companies which have studied and which maybe have not done that well, like a Monte Carlo Symphony, or as Shelji was telling about Coforge. But there are companies that have not done well, like a Fusion hasn't done much, Flair Writing Products hasn't done much. I think these are some of the ideas that you could continue to look at. There are many unit parts and HLE glass coat. So you could look at many ideas. I think there are many of them. Sheila Foams has corrected after going up there, and Ather Energy, that Ather has also come down from higher levels. So I think there are stock specific picks where you are confident about the management and the product line, which can really transform for the next 18 to 24 months. And those are places you can continue to hold on to. But at the same time, wherever valuations are a bit stretched, you're trading at what 60 70 times forward, and you don't see that kind of earnings acceleration over the next 18 24 months. I think you should try to avoid them, or something that is closely linked to like the metal pack. It is closely linked to what happens in China and how it turns around. So I think those are things that you can better avoid. They're trading at median valuations, not offering much of an upside. But at the same time, there are pockets that offer you a very good opportunity. I think cement as a pack offers a good opportunity for very strong revival over the next 6 months. So similar pockets you can identify and just bet on this. But capital goods, etc., I think across the board you can't still put a finger to buy into them.
You know, the problem with cement is that mid-cap cement counters make more sense because they are targets of an eventual buyout either by the Adani Group leading ACC and Ambuja, or the Aditya Birla Group via Ultratech. So those, the likes of Orient Cement, Heidelberg Cement, Orient has already been purchased. Previous to that, India Cement. All of those rallies are working, but the two top big boys, neither Ultratech nor ACC Ambuja, are sort of in any kind of shareholder creation in terms of wealth. Be that as it may, 322. Kushji, before we bid you goodbye, any BTST or STBT trade that you have in mind? Will you take a call home, or are you buying a put?
No, maybe I'll go with a spread. I will maybe buy Reliance Industries. I was just looking at the chart. So Reliance is a buy with a stop loss of 1310. Target tomorrow can be 1350, and we can hedge the position by selling Hindalco future. Reason is, if China is going down, metal stocks will be negatively impacted. So maybe we can take advantage of that. So Hindalco can be short with a stop loss of 711. Target tomorrow can be 690. So a spread trade, buy Reliance, sell Hindalco.
All right. Okay, Kush, we will thank you on that note. Thanks for staying back and being with us and sharing all these thoughts and ideas. We will try and speak to you sooner in this week yet again to really see how the momentum is building up. Tomorrow is going to be a crucial day to really decide where it goes next. So we will have you very soon back on air too. Okay, IT is still holding up firm, over 4% uptick, 42,057 for the Nifty IT. Nifty Realty up 2.5%, oil and gas up 2.5%. You have the Nifty Next 50 mid and small caps, all three of them up over 2.3% each. Consumer durables has pulled up as well. Infra, metals, PSU banks, autos, pharma. These are all also in thick shape right now. Let's get to the broader markets to see if there are any other interesting names that have actually come in. NIT Limited is up 20% circuit in trade today. We have KNR Heat Exchangers, recently listed stock, another 20% uptick for this one. Circuit for this one. IFCI Limited, JSW Holdings, both up about 13 to 16%. Asian Granito is up 12%. You have stocks like Cross Limited also up and about. Gains we've discussed almost 11% higher for this one. Then we also have stocks like Dhani Services. There were viewers' questions today. It's been in a thick trend So all of these stocks within the broader markets also doing well at this point in time. Let's get you to talk about the oil and gas story. Mr. Avasti, and help us understand how are you really assessing the situation there. Just like how Shell was pointing out, at least they're cooling off now. So upstream, OMCs, the gas majors, how are you looking at all these three aspects?
See, within OMCs, I think HPCL remains the most promising across all the three in terms of valuation comfort. While I'm not very bullish on oil prices, I don't think there will be very rampant moves on either side, and gradually you will have a deceleration trend while oil prices keep coming down because of the advent of EVs, etc. Anyway, the global demand was growing at 4.5-5%. And now with if EVs do catch up, and which is expected that EVs or any kind of alternate technology will catch up, whether it's hydrogen or something else, we don't really know. But certainly something alternative to oil and gas will catch up. And if that happens, I think you're looking at a very subtle kind of demand destruction for that space. And that could result in much lower prices. So I think oil and gas, gradually we will see lower prices. Might not happen tomorrow, but I think gradually we will see lower prices there. They will continue to remain a dominant share of the total fuel mix, but gradually they will lose their dominance. And the new share or the larger gains will come from alternate fuels. So I think oil and gas is not going anywhere. So most of the OMCs would have steadied to positive numbers, but I think the first round of re-rating is more or less over there. Try to buy them on corrections whenever a sharp correction sets in. I think anything between 15 to 20% kind of correction in IOC BPCL would make more sense to get back into them. Though they move in sync, so most probably, HPCL will also move in sync. But valuation wise, at current prices, if I have to bet, say over the next 6 to 8 months, then most probably I would want to bet for an HPCL. Valuation comfort is there. Among the oil producers, I think ONGC makes the cut. And in case some of the big discoveries that they have been talking of, if something does convert, that could be a very big re-rating trigger for them. My personal bet would be that you bet on ONGC, the dividend yields are robust, and after this correction, the valuations are good. I think even if it trades, at 10, 11 times, you could be looking at 325, 350 kind of targets on ONGC. That's a decent upside from current prices. So I think ONGC would remain the bet. Within the gas space, I think an indirect play would be Petronet, LNG, etc. But I think at these valuations, most of them would be fairly squarely valued. What you could largely expect is, in line with market kind of returns over the next 6 to 8 months. So I don't think within the gas space you have a very big opportunity. But yeah, within the city gas distribution or the CNG ones, I think this thing IGL does make the cut. What I'm reading about their diversification into new products, trailer trucks, etc., that fly between UP, etc. I think if they can pull that off, that could be one story which might be offering a very good entry point at current prices. So IGL would be one within the gas space that I like. I think that could deliver very good returns.
Sharaji, maybe we should spend some time on Swiggy as well. The IPO opens for subscription today. Price band 371 to 390, and of course this is an 11,327 crore rupee IPO, of which the fresh issue is 4,500 crores. The offer for sale is 6828 crores, and the money that is being raised as fresh issue is for the expansion of dark stores, prepayment of debt, and fresh investments into IT infrastructure. What are you telling your clients, Sharaji? Beyond Zomato, is there space for a good appreciation on Swiggy?
Yeah, I certainly think so. The valuation at which they have put the IPO, I think that's very attractive compared to, Zomato. So on a comparative valuation basis, it does look underpriced at the issue price. And I think in terms of growth, yeah, quick commerce, etc., would continue to grow. Though on traditional matrices, you can't really value it. I think earnings would not be positive for the next 2.5 years. So most probably on that parameter, it does not really point to a very robust number. But I think in terms of EV to sales that we are largely looking for most platform or non-profitable businesses, I think it is offering a decent upside from current prices if you compare it to Zomato. Size-wise, also market share-wise, also they are also a prominent player, and I think the Instamart services, etc., the quick commerce part of it also should do very well. The growth rates should remain very handsome, and add to that urbanization as well as higher per capita income. So I think that this is something that is a very good long term story for the type of investor who wants to take in a bit of risk and is a growth seeker. I think if something abnormal does not happen and the way we are expecting that the risk on comes back and stays here for some time, I think most probably Swiggy is in for a good ride also.
Right. Sakshi, let's just go through the profit as well as loss, the revenue as well as loss numbers. It's a substantial 40% jump in trailing 12 months top line to 12,080 crores. But the problem is that it's an extensively high loss making company. 2,397 crores is the trailing 12-month loss. Sharaji, do you think with the profitability of Zomato in front of us and this consistent loss number that is coming for Swiggy, will this issue be oversubscribed? The reason why I ask is that Zomato is available at 250, whatever the valuation will be. This is a 371 rupee stock at the base level, and there are no signs of this one coming into profit over the next 2 quarters. What will a retailer think in terms of putting in an application, and what will an institutional guy think?
Well, I think the retail guy is more concerned about the short term of it, making money on the listing day. I think they will largely look at comparable valuations, and some might, the ultra HNI or the family offices might look at it similar to the institution way, where they would look at the long term trajectory. And I think in the long term trajectory, what happens with platform businesses typically is, what are we looking at? We are looking at just the Q1 numbers right now. And the top line growth has been very hefty. It's not that the expenditure will catch up with that kind of growth. So I think beyond a point, it is Blinkit that is doing the magic for Zomato also. I think their Insta services should also do the magic for them. So I think post listing, when you have these second quarter numbers, I think, and second quarter and third quarter numbers, I think there is a possibility that even Swiggy gets re-rated very handsomely. Even the debt reduction should contribute to some improvement in the profitability. And the dark store expansion is also very clear that they are focusing on the Insta services part. And I think that is a space that could grow leaps and bounds over the next, 4, 5, 7 years. So most institutional large investors will take a call, of being in Swiggy for a much larger frame of period. And I think till such time that valuations catch up on an EV to sales basis, along with, what Zomato is trading at, there is a possibility that you would have more interest in Swiggy than Zomato. But once Swiggy reaches those valuations, maybe the size discount would be 10% or something. So it is 10, 11 times EV to sales. I think from there you would start seeing a shift between both, to and fro Swiggy to Zomato. But till such time, I don't think that you would have any kind of adverse effect on Swiggy. Largely, the valuation comfort should be more in Swiggy than Zomato at these prices.
Right. With that, Sharaji, thank you so much for your time. And as always, the best wishes to you. Very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, the most wonderful day on the Lal Street in the last 2 months draws to a close. The Nifty up 1.1. The Nifty Bank flat, but still in the green on its weekly expiry day. The star of the day is the IT index up 4%. Nifty 500 up 1.5%. And it's the Indian markets that have how should I say, there is an after party after the main party, and the pre-party, ladies and gentlemen, has been selected on the Lal Street, all thanks to that wonderful Trump win in US elections. Sakshi.
Absolutely. We'll wind up at that 24,484 right now on the Nifty. It's a 270 point offer jump is where we have ended the day at. All the sectors of the Nifty managed to end in the green. India VIX is the only index which has ended in the red. 7.8%.
I am so happy.
at 14.8 odd levels. Top movers BEL, Adani Enterprises, TCS, Infi and Tech Mahindra. On the downside, we did have some stocks that did not participate. So SBI Life, Titan, HDFC Life, IndusInd Bank and HUL were the top drags on the Nifty right now. But it's panned out to be a great day. We'll see how the markets continue tomorrow after the final picture is with us as far as the US elections are concerned. Many thanks for viewing this edition, but do stay tuned. There's a lot more lined up for you on your screens. Thank you so much.
Just endorsed me.
It's a tight fight to the finish. In less than 48 hours, America decides its next president. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris pushed their closing messages to voters on the last day of campaigning. Republican Donald Trump made a last pitch for support in Pennsylvania, the largest of the 7 states expected to decide the presidential election. Trump repeatedly criticized the US election process.
They are fighting so hard to steal this damn thing. Look at what's going on. Look what's going on in your state. Every day, they're talking about extending hours and stuff. Who ever heard of this stuff? We should have one-day voting and paper ballots. It's a damn shame. And I'm the only one that talks about it because everyone's afraid to damn talk about it. And then they accuse you of being a conspiracy theorist. These are conspiracy, and they want to lock you up. They want to put you in jail. The ones that should be locked up are the ones that cheat on these horrible elections that we go through in our country. And I don't know what's going to happen, but for future elections, I won't be even a part of it. But you ought to damn well go to paper ballots. You ought to go to voter ID. And you ought to have the election over by 9 o'clock. I'm hearing now they're going to take weeks. Can you imagine? They spend all this money on machines, and they're going to say, we may take an extra 12 days to determine. And what do you think happens during that 12 days? What do you think happens? These elections have to be decided by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on Tuesday night. Bunch of crooked people. These are crooked people.
Trump, who continues to falsely claim that his 2020 loss to Democratic President Joe Biden was the result of widespread fraud, insists that he is winning.
Our country is a crooked country, okay? It's a crooked country, and we're going to make it straight. We're going to make it straight, and it's not an easy thing to do.
Opinion polls showed Donald Trump and Kamala Harris locked in a tight race, with Harris bolstered by strong support among women voters, while Trump gains ground with Hispanic voters, particularly men. Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris made her closing pitch at a rally in East Lansing, Michigan. Harris addressed Michigan's 200,000 Arab Americans, starting her speech with a nod to civilian victims of Israel's conflict with Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon.
This year has been difficult, given the scale of death and destruction in Gaza, and given the civilian casualties and displacement in Lebanon. It is devastating. And as president, I will do everything in my power to end the war in Gaza. To bring home the hostages, end the suffering in Gaza, ensure Israel is secure, and ensure the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, freedom, security, and self-determination. Are we ready to fight for it?
Harris did not mention Trump's name during the 25-minute speech, only referring to certain individuals.
I believe health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. And to those certain individuals who still want to get rid of the Affordable Care Act and take us back to the days when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions, well, you all know what we say. We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back.
Who will win the US presidential elections? Will it be Donald Trump or will it be Kamala Harris? And who will be better for the Indian stock markets? If that's something that's on your mind, you should stick around till the end of this video to really find out what are top brokerage houses assessing in terms of what are the chances of who will be winning this election and who exactly will be benefiting the Indian stock market continuation journey and the key sectors that stand to benefit if either of the Republican or the Democratic candidates wins this US elections. Let's start off by understanding a broader scenario. Brokerage firm MK Global has said that a full Donald Trump sweep is likely to be most equity positive outcome with a favorable corporate tax regime in addition to low regulatory burden as things stand as of now. However, Chinese equities could bleed due to increased market uncertainty. It could also be tactically positive for India on the FPI positioning and the flows front if there is a Donald Trump victory. On the other hand, a Harris presidency is likely to be a continuation of the Biden